Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's episode I wanted to talk about the birth of Laekaiyah-Jay. So pretty much my second child, my second girl, made me a mother of two, and holy damn, that's crazy when you talk about having two babies at the same time. Anywho, I mean, they're always going to be babies, really. Are they ever going to get older? I don't know. Let's start with the day before. So I was 39 weeks and me and my partner at the time took the kids out to Wet n Wild. Had a great time at Wet n Wild. Kids loved it. My body, not so much. I remember after when we were heading back to the car, I was like walking really slow, and I mean like they were in front of me and I was like, you keep going because it ain't getting any faster over here. So I was like trying to make it to the car and I'm like, this is really weird, like I feel like a lot of pressure but no cramping, no Braxton Hicks, no like, oh, I'm going into labor. I just felt like a lot of pressure. So, and mind you, I've never gone into labor naturally at this point, so I have no idea what to expect, no idea what's going on or how things happen naturally. Anyway, so I'm making my way back to the car and I'm walking like I've got a fucking pole up my ass. Anyway, get home, feel a bit better, don't feel as much pressure, had a shower, had a bit of a cramp, and I was like, oh, that's nothing, like nothing to worry about. Anyway, got through the night, didn't have too bad of a sleep, so that's good considering I went into labor the next morning. So woke up 39 weeks and 1 day, and on this morning, I think it was about 6 a.m. when I went to the toilet, lost my plug, started really like feeling just cramps. So I was like, okay, this isn't too bad. Like, oh, what is this? Is this natural labor? What the hell? Anyway, so showed my partner at the time, then called the midwife just to make sure, because I have no idea what to expect naturally, but I was so excited because obviously like this is something that's pretty cool. It's what I wanted to do, labor naturally. I was like with Zaylee, I didn't get that option. So anyway, I got all excited and I was like, oh, maybe today's the day. So as my cramping kept going, the midwife wanted me to come in because obviously I lost my plug and things like that. So that's a sign of going into labor and whatever else. Then we had to organize our other kids at the time. We waited for them to be picked up and everything to be sorted. Then me and my partner at the time made our way down to the hospital, got Macca's on the way, of course, had to like fuel the body. Don't judge me on what I fueled it with. Anyway, she's pregnant beach, okay? So got to the hospital, had quite a few tests. So like what they wanted to make sure was that my waters had broken or just some sort of sign to be like, yep, you're in labor, it's starting. Whether we get a birthing suite or not sure. Whether we go back home or not sure. So had all the tests and sure enough, came back positive that my waters had broken. So anyway, it's all happening. The cramping is still happening, or contracting at this point is still happening. We made it, I think, around after 11 a.m. on the top of my head to the hospital, and they were about 10 to 15 minutes apart. We're writing them down and whatever. I was like, oh, 10 to 15 minutes apart. Like, shit, is that quick? Like, anyway, got to the hospital, had all the tests, like I said, and then after that, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm in labor. Like, this is happening. Like, my waters had broken, but not totally been like whoosh. It was more like whoop, whoop. I wait a little bit for a birthing suite, and as I'm doing that, a midwife comes in. Now, I didn't have any midwife or anything. I remember with my birth with Zaylee, I had a midwife who couldn't be there during the time. I was really disappointed. So this time around, I was like, okay, no plans for how I want to give birth, no certain person I want to give birth with. Like, let's just go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. That way, if my expectations are up here like they were last time, I won't be let down. That was my mindset going in. Anyway, we have a midwife that comes and introduces herself. As soon as I meet her, I'm like, oh, she was on. After I meet her, she walks us into the birthing suite, gets set up, whatever else. So I'm laying on the bed, and I've never really had the time or the option or the chance to try different sort of labor positions or what works well. So when I was in the labor room, she offered like this big ass like almond shaped ball, and I looked at it and I was like, that does not look comfortable like at all. Like, what the hell? Anyway, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll give it a go. So I'm laying there, and it's like it goes in between your knees. And let me tell you, as soon as I tried it, like in between my knees, I was like, this kind of feels a little bit weird. So I tried it for a while, and then I took it out, had a contraction. Bitch, my knees were like gonna fight each other. I was like, give me that ball back. It was so good. So had that. She was also like giving me heated blankets, and then when they cooled down, she would get another heated blanket. Honestly, the heat was so good. Like, I don't know what it is about heat during pregnancy, birth, whatever it is. It is just such a good pain relief. I loved heat during anything like warm baths, anything, heat packs. So that was really good for me. I really loved that. Breathing through it as we're going, they wanted to break my waters to kind of get labor, like obviously a bit more on a roll, because my contractions had slowed down a little bit. And then because I was like, no, like, what does that mean? And they were like, oh, well, we can break your waters and ramp it back up. And I was like, no, I want to see how it goes. Like, I wanted to do things as naturally as I could. So I was like, oh, thank you for the option, but if I can, I'd like to see how it goes. And she was like, okay, well, for the next hour, like, she was awesome. Like, normally midwives are like, no, you need this, you need that. They kind of just get you in, let you have your baby, like, however they try to persuade you, and then they kick you out pretty much. That's how I found it anyway, with experiences and listening to other people. So I was very firm on no, I want to like see where this goes. I want my body to tell me what I need. I want my baby to do what my baby needs to do. And my other baby's crying. So yes, for some reason my labor was slowing down. So it went from having the contractions to having like 1 or 2 an hour. So anyway, she gave me the option of breaking my waters or seeing how my contractions go over the next hour, and if nothing changes and it slows down further, it's not gonna look good for the baby or myself. So pretty much she gave me an hour to see, to decide for myself if I wanted them to break my waters. So anyway, the hour went by, I had some food, it wasn't ramping up anytime soon. In fact, it was slowing right down. So then I was like, okay, because I remember the pain of someone breaking my waters last time with Zaylee, I was like, oh, shit. I was really like shitting myself, like pain-wise, and like bracing myself. So I was like, oh man, that's kind of why I was avoiding it, because it was honestly the worst pain I've ever experienced. So then I was like, okay, well, I didn't have the gas last time my waters were broken. Hopefully some sort of pain relief when they break my waters, it'll be fine. Anyway, I mean, it helped, but it was still the same fucking shit. Maybe I just didn't inhale it enough. I don't know. But yeah, it was pretty freaking painful. I had my waters broken, then my contractions ramped back up. And then it was getting to a point where I was like asking for the epidural. I was like, holy shit, I can't do this. And I think the one thing I learned that was like pretty awesome about this birth is that I, in my mind, only had the midwife and my partner at the time. The situation of my birth, I think it was because I was doubting myself that I couldn't do it for some reason. When women are made to give birth, one way or another, right? We're fucking awesome. So the constant doubt in my mind was the only thing really stopping me, my self-doubt, which kind of sucks. I was like to the midwife, I can't do this. Like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna fucking die. Like, this is probably so bad to like say because obviously like I didn't die and I was fine. So really I was just probably being dramatic in a time of pain. But this is what was going through my mind. I was like, I need the epidural. I can't do this. I can't do this. Because I'm thinking like, holy hecker, like the pain, if it's going to get worse than this, like how am I going to do that? Like that, my mindset when I'm in labor, it's like for some reason, and I love my babies more than anything, and I like to have children is amazing. But in the moment, I'm thinking I'm in a tunnel and I cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I'm like, okay, how do I get through this pain? How do I get through survival mode? That is what goes through my mind. Not, okay, once I do this, I'll have a baby. No, I'm like, okay, how do I keep breathing? How am I, like, it's pretty busy. Anyway, so I was saying, like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Like, I had reassurance from my partner. The midwife was, like, also giving me reassurance, like, no, you can do this. You are doing it. You're made to do it. You can. You are. Like, you are. And honestly, that is what kept me going. Like, the constant reassurance of, but you are doing it. Look at you. You're doing it. And that is what was getting me through. Even though I was still like, I need the epidural. Holy fucking shit. But yeah, I think it was because baby was obviously coming. So yeah, so with my contractions started around 6 a.m. I gave birth around 8 p.m. So it wasn't too bad, but I will say this. It took me all day to get to 7 centimeters dilated, right? And then the lady was like, oh, you can try the bath, because that was my ideal. Like when I was first talking to her, when we first came into the room, I was like, I would really love a water birth, but you know, we'll just see how it goes. Because she was like, do you have any preferences, this or that? And I was like, no drugs, water birth, that's what I want to try. However, if I'm going to die, save me. So I was 7 centimeters and she said I could hop into the bath. Anyway, so she's like, you might want to try to go to the bathroom before you get in there. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, okay, well, I'm not contracting. I got straight up, I ran to the toilet, had a contraction while I went to the toilet, and then I got up after my contractions. So I was like, oh, quick move while I'm not like, eh. So anyway, pretty much ran to the bath. And then as I got in the bath, I was like, bruh. It was such a massive pain relief getting into a hot bath. I was like, oh, bitch. I was, woo. Yep. And this is how good the bath was for me. So it took me all day to get to 7 centimeters, right? I got in the bath. It took half an hour until I gave birth to Laekaiyah. So within that half an hour, I made it to 10 centimeters and I pushed her out. Like, what? Anyway, so when I got in the bath, I was real buzzy because have you ever like slipped in a pool? Like, and when you fall in a pool, like your feet go up to your head. Like you literally, like once you fall, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I was on my knees and like I had a contraction, like my first few contractions in the bath was okay. I had the gas, took the gas to the bath because that bitch was coming with me. And then right when I was kind of like, oh, what the hell's happening? I honestly like threw the gas away almost, because I had to like, felt like I had to brace myself. I was like, whoo, something's happening. And I was on my knees, like holding onto the edge at this point. And then for some reason, it felt like I slipped, like it felt like I fell in the bath, and I like flipped over. And I think it was like this contraction that literally, like, probably made my body look possessed. I was like, woo. I was taken with the contraction. I turned over and I was like, holy bitch. I was like, something's happening. And my body was like, I said to the lady, I was like, I think I need to push. And this was so buzzy for me because I never had a natural labor before. So this was so cool. I was like, I feel like I need to push. Like, I feel like she's coming, blah, blah, blah. I was just so concentrated then on getting her out. I didn't even, like, obviously I wanted the gas and whatever else. But yeah, it was buzzy as. I was listening to her when she was telling me to push, when not to, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, by the time you knew it, she was born within that half an hour. It happened so fast. And then when she was born, because this was a lot for me, so I normally suffer from anxiety. If my anxiety gets to the worst, it gets my muscles cramp up, like anywhere and everywhere. First it's my hands, then it's like my arms are kind of tense, then it's like my legs and my feet, and then if it's really, really bad, I get like muscle cramps in my jaw and I can't speak properly. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Anywho, and so I was having anxiety while I was doing that because my breathing got really fast, and I was like obviously because I was in pain, whatever else. So at the same time, I had a lot of anxiety, and when I gave birth to her and they put her on my chest, I was like, oh, like I struggled to hold her because like my hands, like my muscles in my hands and my arms were all tensed up. I could hardly hold her properly. So I was like, can you help me? Like obviously I wanted to hold her straight away. And I think like as soon as I looked down and looked at her, it's so crazy. Like you grow this baby, you don't know what they look like, you don't know what they are like at all, except from a scan that, you know, isn't like they're there. And when I looked at her, I was so happy. Like I just couldn't, for me, it was like a personal goal of mine that I smashed. And I didn't even know I needed to smash it, but I gave birth without an epidural. And for me, that was pretty cool to experience that, even though I totally wanted it, totally not against it, like all for it. But it was so cool that I gave birth to Laekaiyah in the water. I felt really like accomplished, happy within myself that I was able to do what I wanted to do the first time round, coming into it without a plan and just going with the flow. So I was really lucky that I got to experience a water birth. I look back on it and it was all good vibes. It was just like, you know, it's always a shock when your baby's finally here. It's like such a nice feeling. Anyway, I loved all the cuddles, although it was pretty short lived because after that they wanted me straight out of the bath, and I was like, oh, I was like, holy hell. I was like, I thought it was over. Then I forgot about the placenta part at the time, and I was like, oh man. So like they took baby off me, then I had to get back onto the bed, and I was like, can I just like rest? Can I just like got back on the bed? Then I had to give birth to my placenta. I had another needle stabbed into my leg to stop the bleeding. I was wrecked. I was like, give me the gas back. Like I was breathing through the gas even after I'd given birth to Laekaiyah. That shit's so good, bro. And then when I was giving birth to the placenta, I was breathing through gas because I had a lot of pain still. Like honestly, after I gave birth, it was really, really sore. And I think my midwife was so good, but she kept pressing. Like the girls will know when you're pregnant and they press on you after you give birth, and they're like, you know, trying to get all that freaking excess shit out or whatever else. It's freaking painful. It's tender. It's sore. You don't want to be touched. You want to just be left alone. Trust me. And they're just the constant, they probably have them for like over an hour after giving birth. Like, don't touch me. There was like 3 times, and I loved my midwife. I thought she was awesome. But there were at least 3 times that I remember where she went to go press on me again to feel whatever they got to feel for, and I grabbed her hand and I was like, please. I was like, please stop. Please just give me like a break. I need to breathe. She was like, sorry, darling. Like, this just needs to be done. You're doing so well. Anyway, yeah, I did that like 3 times because I was just in so much pain. I was like, yeah, I don't know if it's because it's something I hadn't experienced before and I couldn't feel from here down last time. I don't know, but damn, it was freaking sore, bitch. Then I got to, so Daddy had cuddles too, which was really lovely. Then I'm pretty sure I tried to like feed her and stuff, so that was pretty cool. Feeding her, it was going really well. I struggled a little bit last time with the whole breastfeeding thing, especially straight away, so I was loving that. That was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool feeling for me, especially after giving birth. You know, I could just lay there. And then after that, stayed in the hospital for one night, and that was pretty rough, I think, because I didn't have the epidural. I was really feeling more of the recovery side a lot harder. So like even sitting up, I'd have to like, when I did stay in the hospital, I pressed the nurse button a few times because like I needed help to like sit up. Yeah, I don't know why, but that was pretty hard. Anyway, everything else was fine. The experience in the hospital was fine. Everything went well. Baby was healthy. I was fine. So then when we took baby home, it was pretty cool at the time because we had other kids. For our other kids to meet their sibling was a pretty cool feeling. Like watching them, the excitement, the little first holds. It was really nice. It's something I won't forget. I'm sure they won't either. But yeah, all in all, it was a really good experience. I learned a lot in myself through that birthing experience too, which was pretty cool. I was very lucky. Nothing went wrong. Recovery wise was pretty good. Like my body, it was a little bit sore on the sore side. Breastfeeding was a bit more of a better experience, which was good. But I freaking worked my butt off to feed her as much as I could through the pain of breastfeeding, through pumping bottles for her. I really did. Like feeding your child is a different type of job, and like it's crazy. Like after you go through all the labor, recovering and feeding at the same time without catching up on sleep, and then from then on goodbye sleep. Like every 2 to 3 to 4 hours you're feeding this child. Like it depends on you. It's pretty crazy. I think the whole adjusting to 2 babies was a lot at the start for me, only because, you know, putting 2 babies to sleep at the same time, dividing your attention between 2 babies, their nighttime routine, who's fed, who needs cuddles. It was a whole different ball game for me, a whole different world for me. Like now it's like easy as and sweet as, 2's nothing. But at the time it was like, whoa, it was a new world. Like they really do say when you go from 1 to 2, it's crazy. And then like 3, 4, 5, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I think, you know, I went through more mum guilt. I went through more lessons of trying to share myself, share my attention, really be there for both of them. Having 2 babies cry for you at once, like it was all so new to me. But I think that all you can do is the best you can. I remember putting Zaylee to sleep while holding LJ, and like sometimes like Zaylee would be like, oh, I want to hold your hand, and I would be like rocking and holding hands at the same time. Like, yeah, it was a very exhausting job, especially at the beginning when you're just learning all these things that you've never known before, just like the first one. So yeah, it was a pretty crazy experience, but watching Zaylee like learn to love her and want to help and nurture her and everything, it was so cool. Like I was pretty scared from going from 1 to 2 babies of my own, just because I'm like, how like, you know, how am I gonna love this baby like I love this baby? How am I gonna adjust when I've done this with my first? It just happens. Like everything just falls into place. You learn a new love. You learn to watch a new love. Like it's pretty buzzy. And now, like especially after I had her, I was like, I cannot imagine life without her. So, like, I'm sure I'm not the only one that's had those thoughts or doubts or whatever you want to call it beforehand. But now, like, watching them play together, and now that they've grown up a bit, there's only so much more to come. So, it's pretty cool having, well, it was pretty cool having 2 kids. Now we've got 3. But yeah, it was so cool to see, and I was really proud of myself with what I learned in myself, that I can do things, that I'm strong, that I had a really empowering experience within myself. So that was pretty cool for me. And I know that this little girl, Laekaiyah, is so different to my first 2, which is so cool. Like, they're so different, yet they're so similar in some ways. Watching them develop their own personalities that are different, watching them grow differently, watching them hit different milestones at different times. It's so cool. Like, honestly, motherhood is just the best journey I've ever been on, and it's always changing. There's always something else coming. I'm always going to learn something else new, and it just gets better and better. And like the love you have for your kids is just, it's just like no other. And yeah, I'm very, very lucky to have birthed 2 girls healthy, and I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, when I had Zaylee, she was my best friend, and she will always be my best friend. And now I have another little best friend, and it's also her best friend. I'm so lucky to have birthed my little besties for life. These little girls I've got for life in a way that the world could never change. No one could ever change. And Laekaiyah, you are just such a happy, bursting with energy, bursting with feelings and happy emotions, actions. You are just like a little light. You are a light, and I'm so grateful that I get to parent you. I get to have you, I get to hold you, I get to look after you, just like your older sister. And you've already taught me so much that your sister never taught me. You're both so different. You're both so beautiful in such different and also in similar ways. I'm just so lucky. I love you both so much. And there will never be a time where that love will ever be unequal. Like, I will love you both the amount that I do. And I know that there will be different things I love about both of you. But I love sharing my life with you both. And I'm so glad that Laekaiyah is now a part of ours. So yeah, now I've got another little best friend.